What's actually happening when the talking heads from mainstream media interact with so-called government officials?
Extremely pleased with the ruling today. This is a great day for the First Amendment and journalism. We're very excited to have Mr. Acosta be able to go back and get his hard pass and report the news about the White House. I'll turn it over to Jim.
Okay. Everybody, thanks for coming. I just want to say something very briefly, and that is I want to thank all of my colleagues in the press who supported us this week, and I want to thank the judge for the decision he made today, and let's go back to work. Thank you.
When do you expect to get...
I thought that it was a matter of real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here.
All right, we are just now getting some breaking news on the ruling on that CNN lawsuit against White House reporter Jim Acosta from CNN.
And believed here because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news. The CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
The White House revoked his press pass, you'll remember, and a judge is ruling in favor of Jim Acosta and CNN.
What's going on here is hilarious, ridiculous, fascinating, and extremely sobering, all sprinkled with a generous helping of insanity. So a federal judge is forcing the White House or the Trump administration to give the press pass of Jim Acosta back. But if you boil it all down, what you have is the government forcing the government to give the press pass back of a CIA operative from a government-controlled agency, i.e. corporate-controlled media.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
Don't! We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
The judge there is saying that the fact that CNN has other pass holders does not make the harm to Acosta any less irreparable. The judge is saying that the whole thing about Acosta placing the hands on the intern was of questionable accuracy. The judge also went on to criticize the government's defense of its procedures in revoking Acosta's press pass.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
Don't! This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
The federal judge, Timothy Kelly, in this case, says, quote, I will grant the application for the temporary restraining order. I order the government reinstate Jim Acosta's press pass.
At CBS, we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation in 1954, ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
So the hearing is still ongoing, but that, of course, just coming down, and we wanted to make sure that we brought that to you.
Fox News had joined CNN in protesting the administration's actions on freedom of the press grounds. And so now the judge is saying that he will grant the application for a temporary restraining order, forcing the White House, in effect, to give Jim Acosta his press pass back.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news Services, AP and UPI.
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
The judge has ordered that the White House return the press pass of Jim Acosta.
Remember, CNN wanted the White House to give the press pass back. They were hoping for a total victory. The White House was hoping for a total victory to say no. They can decide who gets a press pass. So this is a middle ground victory for CNN. What the judge said is that CNN has to give it back to Jim Acosta for now.
I think it was entirely in order for our correspondents at that time to make use of CIA agent chiefs of station and other members of the executive staff of CIA as sources of information which were useful in their assessments of world conditions.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
This is a victory for CNN, a temporary victory. The judge will later get into the merits of the case on the First Amendment issue. So he stayed away from the hard part of the case. This is sort of a compromise.
And of course, the entire thing is covered for all to see by government-controlled corporate media. Can the insanity get any more insane? If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know.